Alright, so in this project we're going to be using the YouTube Data API version 3, which is the current newest version. Alright, so basically what we're going to do is build a search engine where we can type in something into our search box and it's going to search YouTube for videos that match our search phrase and then display them nicely in our website or in our application. And then we're going to be able to click on it and have a light box open up so we can play the video. So we're not actually going to be redirected to YouTube at all. It's all going to be on our site. Alright, so we have this really simple, clean looking template with this search box, and this search box, if we click in it, it does a little animation, okay, opens up. If we click out of it, it goes back. Alright, so that's a little jQuery right there that we'll have to do. And then we can search for something. Let's just say web design, and you can see that all the results come up nicely on our site. And if we go to the actual YouTube site and go ahead and search web design, we're basically going to get the same thing. Alright, you can see it's a little different because we're not showing ads. Whoops. Alright, so these here aren't going to show up, and we could have them show up if we wanted to, but I've added the options in here so that only videos come up. Alright, so channels aren't going to come up, things like that. It's going to be only videos, no playlists. You can choose to have that stuff show up, but I just wanted the videos. Alright, and then if we scroll down, you can see we have 5 results by default. And then we have some paging down here, so I can click the next page button and it's going to take us to the next page, and now you can see we have the previous page. Alright, so it looks really nice, and if you click on a video, a light box opens up and you can play it. Alright, so we're not going to be redirected to YouTube at all. Okay, we're going to stay inside of our application. Alright, so that's what we'll be building. And if you're interested in this YouTube Data API, I'd suggest going to the developers.google website and just browse around this area here, the YouTube v3 getting started. Alright, and it pretty much tells you everything you need to do. It gives you all of these resource types that you can use. Alright, we can use functionality with videos, channels, users, playlists, pretty much anything. You can pretty much do anything through this API. You can upload videos, create playlists, and I mean, it does get difficult in terms of the code, but you really have a lot of flexibility. Alright, so this here is the API console, Google Developers API console. And you're going to have to get an API key in order to build this application. Alright, so just go to console.developers.google.com and you want to click over on APIs under APIs and auth, and you want to select the YouTube Data API. Alright, I already have it enabled, but if you don't, it'll be somewhere at the bottom, and just click on it, enable it. And then you'll have to click on credentials and get an API key. I'm actually going to delete this. Alright, I have one key here and it's public, so I don't really care if you see it or not. You can use it on any domain. Alright, so you just got to click on create a new key, and you want to use a browser key because this is going to be on the client side. Alright, and then just you can add certain domains that it'll work from, or you can choose to have any refer allowed, alright, which I'd suggest for just testing applications like this. It's not a production app. So alright, so once you get that, copy and paste it in a notepad file or something, because you're going to need it later on. Alright, so let's get started with the interface, the HTML. Alright, so we'll go ahead and create our project folder, and let's call it search vids. Alright, so we're going to need a couple things here. We need our HTML file, of course. Alright, and we'll create a CSS folder, and a JavaScript folder. Let me just see. I think that's it. Images. Okay, we do need an images folder as well. And you'll have these images in your project files. I'm just going to grab them from the completed project. Alright, basically a lot of these images are from the Fancy Box plugin that we're going to use, which is a jQuery script. Alright, and it comes with these arrows and X out buttons, things like that. The search icon we're just using in our search bar, and that's pretty much it. We have the background of the site has this texture and this top dark bar thing. Alright, so I'm just going to grab all of these and bring them over. Alright. So let's go ahead and open up the index in our text editor. Okay, I'm going to open the index, as well as we need to create a CSS file. So I'm going to call this style.css. Okay, and might as well open that up. Alright, now we'll create our JavaScript file. And this is going to be called script.js. And we'll open that up as well. Alright. So let's go ahead and just add the initial code, the initial HTML. Okay, we want a HTML5 doc type. And our HTML tags, we want our head tags. And we'll put up a title in here called search vids. Alright, we need our body tags. Alright. So before we type in the body, let's link our files. So we need our CSS. So we need a link tag. And this is a style sheet. And we want our href to go to the CSS folder, and then style.css. And then our script is going to be script src js script.js. Alright, now we also need to include jQuery, and feel free to go to jquery.com and download it and put it in your file structure, but I'm just going to use the Google CDN. So I'm just going to paste that in right here. Alright, you want to make sure that your jQuery file is before your script file. Alright. So let's move on to the body. And we're not going to have a lot here because a lot of the HTML is going to be generated through JavaScript. Alright, we're just going to put a div, and then JavaScript will take care of filling it with the API data. Alright, so let's create a div. We'll say ID container. And in our container, we want a header. Okay, so we'll use the HTML5 header tag. And then an H1. And let's see, search. And then I'm going to add a span around the vids part just so we can use a different color for the text, kind of like a logo. Okay, so span, vids, span, H1. And then we'll just have a little slogan here. We'll say search the YouTube video. We'll just say search. I don't know. Search all YouTube videos. It's not really important. All right, and so that's it for the header. Now we're going to have a section. Alright, and in this section we're going to have our form. Okay, so form, we're going to give it an ID of search form. And we're going to be adding the JavaScript for this form to animate as well. So ID search form, let's give it a name. Same thing, search form. Alright, and then we're going to give it a click, a submit handler. So on submit, we want this to return our search function. Okay, so we'll create that in a little bit. Alright, now I want to have another div here with the class of field container. Oops. It'd help if I could spell. Field container. Alright, and then inside of there we want to have our search field, so input, and the type is going to be search. Okay, this is HTML5, so we can use the search input type. And let's see, we'll give it an ID of query, if I could spell it. Okay, and then a class of search field. And let's give it a placeholder. And we'll just say search YouTube. Wait a minute. Not sure what happened there. Alright, and that should be good. Okay, so next we want our button, which is also going to be an input. Okay, it's going to have a type of submit. And we'll give it a name of search button. Same thing for the ID. And then the value is going to equal nothing. Alright, so this isn't going to look very pretty, but we'll take a look at it. One thing, this I'm on my local host here, or not even, I'm actually just in my file structure, so this link to the jQuery CDN, I'm going to put right here, I'm going to put HTTPS : alright, or else we'll get this looping problem. Alright, so this is what we have so far. It looks absolutely disgusting, but we're going to fix it when we add our CSS. Alright, so the last thing we want to do inside of our HTML is just add our elements where we're going to populate our videos. Alright, so we're going to have a UL tag, and I'm going to give it an ID of results. Alright, and we're not going to put anything in it, it's just the UL. And then under it, we'll have a div with the ID of buttons. Okay, so this is where the previous and next buttons are going to go. Alright, so that's it. And we'll also add a footer. Alright, and in the footer, we'll just have a p tag with a copyright. Say copyright. And let's say 2014. I don't know. I'm just going to put all rights reserved. Obviously, this is a fictitious website, application, company. Alright, so that should do it as far as the markup. Alright, so let's go ahead and add some CSS. And in this video, I'm only doing the CSS for the template. This search box we're going to do in the next video along with the search box animation JavaScript. Alright, so let's just do the template. So I want to just zero out everything. So we're going to say padding 0 and margin 0. Okay, this asterisk is basically just a symbol for everything. Alright, in the body, let's see, what do we want to do here? I'm going to use the font family. I'm not exactly sure how to say this. It's SEGOUE. So Sego or Segou. Not exactly sure how it's pronounced, but I want to use it. Alright, the line height I'm going to set to 1.6 em. The color of the text will be a dark gray, and we want to use a background. We have a little texture that we can repeat. Alright, so the color is going to be E1, 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 and then a URL, which is going to go to .image/creampaper.png, which is just a small image that is seamless so we can repeat it. Alright, so we want to keep this blank. We don't want to put no repeat because we want it to repeat in both ways, X and Y. Okay, font size is going to be 14 pixels. Okay, links. Link is going to be color 333, and text decoration. I wish that they would just have none as the default, because underlined links look horrible. Alright, so the container, we're going to give it a width of 740 pixels and give it a background of white, and set the margin to auto because we want it in the middle. Alright, and I'm going to add a class for clear fix so that we can clear our floats later on. I'm just going to set this to clear both. Alright, so the header, I'm going to add some padding to the header. Let's do 30 on the top and bottom, 20 on the left and right, and I'm going to give it a background of a light gray. Alright, and then the H1 in the header, we'll give it a color of black, and I want to set a margin bottom to 5 pixels. Alright, let's just see how this looks. Alright, so we're getting there. Next I want to do the span in the heading, or header. And all I'm going to do to that is make it that reddish YouTube brand color, which is DD2826. Okay, so the section, which is the main body of the template, what are we going to do here? We're just going to set some padding. Alright, so I want 30 pixels on the top and then 20 everywhere else. Alright, and the footer, we'll give a padding of 20 pixels, and the background of the footer is going to be the same as the header, light gray. Alright, and then we're going to align the text to the center. Whoop. Okay, so that's the footer. I think that's pretty much it for now. We will be doing the search bar in the next video, and then of course we'll have to style the HTML that gets generated from the API, from the JavaScript. But this should be good for now. Let's check it out. Alright, so the header looks good, footer looks good. Alright, so like I said, in the next video we'll work on this search.